Hey, welcome in, Tony Talking Trash About Music. Today we are talking about Kate Bush, the great artist, singer, songwriter, dancer, conceptualist, record producer. Really eclectic musical style from the beginning. Really started at a young age, 11 years old. Discovered by the great David Gilmour of Pink Floyd. Brought her forward. She's now, born in 1958. She's a couple years older than me. She lives in Kent, England. A great dancer too. If you look at some of the stuff, she's very rare. I think she had like about two tours. She had the one tour in the early part, and then just had one the later years. Made a couple live records. We won't talk about those. We'll be talking about the studio records here today. And there are big gaps in her studio career. She did take a long time to raise her child. Birdie took a long time, and besides, she can really at this point take her own time off. And astonishingly, she's had a lot of chart success recently with the, Stranger Things, I guess, happened, and Running Up That Hill happened. Kick Inside, Wuthering Heights was really big. Hounds of Love is really big. And, she's had a lot of big, she had a hit with, Don't Give Up with Peter Gabriel, which is I guess one of her songs. And it's had a couple compilation records, but her dad was a doctor, of course. She grew up a traditional Irish dancer. Her mother was one, and a music instrument maker. She trained at a karate club and a karate instructor. Going on, she was a Covenant Grant girl, Catholic girls' school. Just like you dream, you see her and you see all this imagery in her stuff, and she captures it very, very well. And then at the time, the tape, she did a demo in 1973, caught the ear of EMI. EMI gave Bush a large advance, recorded demos of a lot of songs. She wrote a lot of songs, formed the KT Bush Band, who played live around there with Del Palmer, ended up being her husband later. Brian Bath, guitar player, Vic King. First album began in 1977, Kick Inside Lionheart. And really, has had her own entire thing away from everybody else. She's really, independence to her was very important from the beginning. She's always developed things at her own pace. She's had her own working methods, which have seemed very mysterious to a lot of people from the outside. And by doing such, she's developed such a huge following of the technical prowess outward of her work. Now, not all of her work is sold a lot, but it's interesting that she seems to always be there. And you talk about the songs that Peter Gabriel, Salisbury Hill. It talks about Salisbury Plain and Kathy and the Wuthering Heights, and it was huge in Britain. It was a huge hit. The Kick Inside sold over 1 million copies and launched through there. Here, it did okay, but it wasn't big. She follows up with Lionheart, Never Forever, and The Dreaming. And the entire time she's doing this, she's moving into her own production of things. She's doing a range of styles, a lot more diverse. And things are opening up during this period of time. And what's so great about her, man, she's an artist. She was not somebody at all controlled by the record company. Forget it. From the beginning, independent of the beginning, it's amazing to me. And the words are out. I remember around Hounds of Love and stuff, you were wondering, well, when are they going to hear that? Because the Dreaming was so radical. The Dreaming was very radical, and the Dreaming really didn't sell that well from what they wanted. They were really disappointed with it. I remember being thrilled to death with it. I mean, I remember, in real time being I played that record nonstop, as I did, Hounds of Love, the follow-up. But and then she moved on from that. And, she had the greatest hits thing, Experiment 4, the single, Sensual World, Red Shoes, big hiatus to raise her child, Ariel. And then And then we got director's cut. And director's cut really goes back to Sensual World, Red Shoes, and people were a little confused by it because some of the stuff got changed, some of the songs got changed completely, some didn't. And then the 10th record that came out in 2011, 50 Words for Snow, was really, man, I don't know if you want to call it withdrawn, palsy, like, it's just a weird, she was really able to, by the way she recorded, and the way that there's no, I want to say meter or whatever. And so whatever it is, but able to recreate this. You know, Kate Bush is doing a lot of stuff. I don't know what she's working on now, the best of the other sides. She's doing a compilation record. I'm not going to count that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about her 10 records and really how I feel about them. I think she's just been wonderful, and that her worldview is going in, that just seems to be completely, as far as I'm concerned, completely fearless. And I'm going to rank what I can have 10 records bringing up today. The last one being, last one that came out, 50 Words for Snow. And then the first one, of course, being the debut, Kick Inside. But anyway, getting in 1978, let's start off here with number 10. And number 10 to me is not, and some of these things, again, this is one of the 2 records that were redone on a director's cut. I think some of the songs were changed, were altered from this, but I'm going to go with 1993's Red Shoes. There's something about it. There's something about the compression of the sound of it differed a lot when you're talking about the move from Sensual World, which was really the one she did before this, the predecessor to this. You have Hounds of Love in 85. Sensual World is about 4 years later, and then you've got this about 4 years later. And this one, to me, it just sounded like for the first time ever, the songs weren't there. I'm not a big fan of Rubber Band. Definitely didn't like Eat the Music. Something about that just didn't do it for me. I'm a fan of the Big Stripey Lie. That's a cool one. But, you know, there was a lot of stuff going on during the time. There were some deaths involved with some band members, some close people, and a lot of stuff happened. And I guess it was during that period of time that things were rough for Kate. So that's my number 10, and 1993's Red Shoes. I just think the sound of it is also digitally compressed. I don't, I think it wanders a little bit too much in balladry and slower songs, and it does not have the melodrama of some of the other records and the impact of those. Let's go to number 9. I'm going to talk about the other one, 1989's A Sensual World. I think that the Sensual World, of course, and I think there's some ones around here that were released that would help. They're released for the other aspects of the Sensual World, which are good. I love the song "Deeper Understanding" is a promising send off. Sensual World's good too. I'm not too crazy about this woman's work. Never was. The rework version of these songs work more for me. But I think what they needed to do in this album to me, I remember when it came out, I remember my feeling of it was, it sounds to me like she's trying to do the same sound that was her sound that I guess she found in Cloudbursting and songs from Hounds of Love and Experiment 4, songs like that, and ride it out. And to me, it just, she being the producer of her records at this time, again, was it improved? Some, yeah, it was improved some by the re-release. But Love and Anger, okay, but really I was nonplussed by this. It's one of those records that when it came out, I couldn't really get it and didn't understand it much. And I still think it seems to me a little bit like it's treading water. And it's amazing it could be that long. Let's talk to 19. Let's go back for my number 8. We're going to go all the way back to 1978. For to me, the Corky Lionheart, the second record, 1978, that was put out. You've got some weird songs on this. Coffee Homeground, Wow, is kind of an odd song. Hammer Horror, Symphony in Blue. It just is really kind of paints her to be like a middle of the road artist. You know how David Bowie and his Darum thing, there's kind of a little bit of that happening, you know. Push Your Foot on the Heartbreak, good song. Lionheart is a little bit overly dramatic. I guess it was good for that. You know, I'm just not a big fan of a lot of this record. I think the songs aren't quite as good. You know, the Peter Pan song, you know, you've got that on there. It's just a little bit of I don't know, man. Some of the line, it was, you know, some of the stuff that was done here, just I don't think needed to happen, and so that's where I went with it. And it was always one. It was like, that's the same artist that made the first record and that made the third, that made Never Forever and Kick Inside. Huh? It just is, to me, is the odd one out, and that's my number 8. November 1978. It's the second release, 1978's Lionheart. Let's go to Director's Cut for number 7, 511. This is, friends, is nothing but a remake of. Director's Cut is a remake in 2011 of the two records, The Red Shoes and Sensual World, which really now have new lead vocals, drums, and instrumentation, remixed and restructured. It took a lot of work to do. And 3 of the songs, you know, Woman's Work, and what's the other one? There were 3 of them. I don't remember the other one, but it surprised me because everybody, after you get Ariel and you get this, and that she's coming back here, and Sensual World now reappears as Flower of the Mountain, which is surprising to me. I think it's good. I mean, I think it's just different stuff, and it's hard to understand. But to me, Rubber Band Girl, Moments of Pleasure, a lot of it's redone, and when you listen to it side by side, some of it you're almost like, my God, this is the same song. But then you play it, and yes, it is. So, well, I mean, I think it's a worthy project to do. I think she must have felt really bothered by the digital. And what's been said is that she did not like the digital nature, didn't like the way that these records were recorded to start with. And I would agree the production is in that period of time, and it's also in that period of time of louder 90s thing, you know, being that Central World was 89, Red Shoes was 93. That's right in that ballpark. So got you there with that. Let's go to number 6. My number 6, and this is hard. All these records from here on out really are probably keepers as far as I'm concerned. I'm talking about one of the most baffling. It's amazing to me you can have an artist of this nature and this long. I'm sorry about the noise outside, and still have to this point somebody that's just so befuddling. This is the quietest record. I'm talking about 50 Words for Snow, the last real record she made, December 2011, after she released Director's Cut on her own label, Fish People. Wow. First of all, these tracks are long. Secondly, there's hardly any real grooves other than you really get the feeling of being in snow. And the song 50 Words for Snow are really a recitation, almost like she did in the Pie song from Ariel, where it's going on. This is set against the background of falling snow, running time of 65 minutes. I'll tell you, man, Wild Man, Snowflake, especially Misty. Oh my God. I think it's beautiful. I just think it takes a lot of guts. It's really, really a lot of guts to do a record like this. But she doesn't care. You know, she doesn't. Her choir boy voice of her Bush's son Albert, who sang the lead role of a falling snowflake in a song expressing the hope of a noisy world being hushed by snowfall. And that's what I love. There's something about the record that captures this, and I've said this a million times to anybody who listen. From my process of creativity, from my process of writing, There's nothing better than to have a blanket all over the snow. You got enough to eat and drink in the house. The power's on. You've cleared the driveway. And there's no pressure of anything. And you look outside, it's a blank canvas. It's just white. You fill in what you want. To me, it's the best time to write. I think if you're really a writer, it's why people like Juan Ivor and these people go up to the cabin. They go up to the cabin to see what's going on. Oh, my God. Anyway, that's my number 6. 50 words for snow. Check it out. I mean, it's really something to check out. Now, as soon as I tell you this to check out, we're going to go back to another one that's going to check out that really is a first double album ever. We're talking about 2005's Quirky and Wild Ariel. Birds. She loves the bird stuff, the waveform of a blackbird. All these different styles are running through it, and flamenco, a lot of just beautiful stuff. She has 2 discs here on this. A Sea of Honey is the first one. The second disc is Sky of Honey. And it's just gorgeous. The song Pie is just absolutely ridiculous, as I said before. There's so many beautiful songs on this record. Again, Mommy, Daddy, the day is full of birds. It's a celebration of nature. It's a celebration there of like King of the Mountain. Giovanni, yeah. Oh my God. I don't know, man. I just think it's misunderstood. I think it could have a lot more people to it. I was surprised it didn't get more attention when it did. I think some people always think when you come up with something like this, you're pretentious, you're being, something. But I don't know how you can express something like this without. I just think it's wonderful. I think she's. It's just wonderful we live in a world where you've got some person like Kate being able to do what she wants. I just wish people wouldn't ask her questions. Leave her alone. All right, number 4, let's go to the debut. You talked about her writing songs since she's a little kid, hell, 18 years old. Heathcliff. We're talking about Wuthering Heights. We're talking about Kicking Side, baby. 278. You're talking about, them heavy people, Kite. I love that first tour. The first tour with all the dancing and stuff. She's such a good dancer. You can just tell. But anyway, great record. Great song. Great thoughts. Super duper. That's my number 4. Now, some people might switch plays with this for me. But I'm going with number 3, 1980s. Really beautiful, mystical, Never Forever. I love Never Forever. A lot of people don't think it's quite as great. Of course, Babushka being the big song. Breathing Big, Army Dreamers is good. But to me, a lot of the first side when she turns on one of the first turning on that voice, Delia's Song of Summer, that beatbox and into Blow Away. It's just a beautiful song. I love Wedding List. I like Violin. I think it's a masterpiece, and I think it's often overlooked. And when I see people, not rank it or not rated high, I'm really surprised because I think her music is very, very strong, and the composition this really blossomed, and it really set up the next one. And while we're doing it, let's set it up now for the big run. That was the first one. That's phase 1 of the big run. It's a junior version, I guess, but I told you all the beautiful orchestration, all the beautiful songs, and all the things she has. Let's move into number 2. The album that completely freaked them all out, the aforementioned Genius of the Dreaming. My God, when the Dreaming came out, I just remember it's about the time Peter Gabriel's solo stuff came out. There was a lot of really cool stuff happening at the time, but I remember her kind of staking a claim with this. This is like, I'm not going to be, I'm going to be bold. And she's standing there with the key in her mouth and she get ready to tongue kiss this guy. She even a crime on him, man. So many people wish that it was them was the one getting kissed. Art rock. What do they call this? They call this record, what do they call the art rock, avant pop, progressive pop? No kidding, man. Some say that knowledge is something to it in you. I just think when I heard that, I must admit, just when I think, oh my God, I just think the boldness of that record, there's something else about it. And then pull out the pen, get out of my house. My God, how can you ever forget this? Everybody's shaking me. How could it not be number one? Well, I don't know, man. I mean, it's a hard call. I love these two records. These last two records are no kidding. They are 5-star records in my book. And I would say probably Never Forever is very, very close. Never Forever is probably 4.5. And Kicking Sides 4, and Aerial 4, 50 Words for Snow 4, Director's Cut 3.5. Lionheart 3, 2.5 Red Shoes. Anyway, I like all her stuff. Although Night of the Swallow, Houdini, All the Love, Pull Out the Pen, Suspended in Gaffa. Jeez. Man, I've spent so much time listening to this record. This is just, it's a freaking masterpiece. It's a production masterpiece. The sounds, the production, the use of the Fairlight, the use of her voice, the use of limiters, the use of everything. It gets a lower rating, and I have no clue what they're talking about. They don't worry uncommercials what they're trying to say. Well, I guess everybody can be happy with my number one. My number one is the great Hounds of Love with the Running Up That Hill, the big one from the big reunion from the new deal with this, and the influence is like really, really big. And, what are you going to say? Wuthering Heights, too, really, really big. Running Up That Hill, Deal with God, Hounds of Love, Big Sky. I mean, Mother Stands for Comfort, Cloudburst. That first side is incredible. The second side, too. I mean, if you really think about this record, you have to put this as, and artistically wise, I mean, I'd like somebody to point out to me what's not really ideal with this, because it pretty much is. It's fantastic. This is a great, great record. But that is my number one, the magnificent Hounds of Love. I saw something recently from Kate. It's her favorite also. Something about that second song, man, Jig of Life, Hello, Earth, The Morning Fog. Something else, man. Artistry at the very highest, and I have the highest of respect for Kate Bush. Tell me what your list is, everybody. Give me your list. Please remember to subscribe to the podcast, and please hit the like button. Help us out, man. List what you guys like down below. A lot of people like the different eras of Kate Bush. A lot of people have different thoughts about Kate Bush. I don't know. I go through periods of time when I don't listen to her, but my God, I mean, when you're thinking about innovative artists of forever, and she just takes her own time. She's just a great artist. Period. Don't say a lady. Don't say whatever. It's certainly being a woman is part of her art. But hey, she's just a great artist, man. Makes great records, and I would recommend you get any of these. And these records are really good records. You can. I'll do a lot better on vinyl probably. Nowadays than you could maybe 10 years ago. It was getting a little bit rare, but I think they've re-released a lot of these. But nevertheless, thank y'all for tuning in. Leave your list below. Remember to subscribe to the podcast. Help us out. Thanks a lot, and we will check y'all with my list of the 20 favorite Kate Bush songs right around the corner, man. Talk to you later.